Hey, Jolly Rancher candy. Colossal fruit taste that lasts all day and all night.
Welcome back to the College World Series, Omaha, Nebraska, and a beautiful late afternoon sky greets a big crowd here at Rosenblatt Stadium. It is just gorgeous, a perfect time baseball as the defending national champions take the field. Take a look at the EA Sports starting lineup. First, the Rice Owls. The second baseman, Jason Richards, leads it off. Joseph Cathy, the shortstop, hits second. Lance Berkman, with those 41 home runs, is the first baseman. Bubba Crosby, the center fielder, the cleanup hitter. The right fielder, Will Ford, will hit fifth. Tim McLaughlin is next. He's the catcher. The DH is Justin Berg. Jacob Baker, the third baseman, hits eighth. And J.J. Savarino, the left fielder, and he will bat ninth. And Joe, with all the attention on Berkman, the cleanup hitter Crosby doesn't get much attention at all.
Well, you're right. He is going to be the key, because not so much that he's going to protect him, but he's going to have to pick up the ones that are out there when they walk Berkman.
Here's the starting pitcher for the LSU Tigers, Doug Thompson, the right-hander out of Biloxi, Mississippi.
And what you see from Thompson there, you see his record. But what he really does, he has 11.7 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched. But he has a big curveball, about 87 miles an hour, but he spots the ball well. And the real key for him is to try to be more consistent. He usually has a period during the ball game where, you know, he just seems to struggle. He'll go out there and walk the first couple of hitters and maybe get out of the inning. Then the next inning, he just shuts them down completely. So he has to be a little more consistent in order to beat these Rice Owls.
Skip Bertman, the veteran skipper of the LSU Tigers, the all-time winningest coach. And as Joe mentioned earlier, he has won 3 times in the 90s here in Omaha. Let's take a look. The LSU defense, Conan Horton behind the plate around the infield, Trey McClure at third, Brandon Larson, an excellent shortstop. Blair Barbary is the second baseman, Eddie Furness at first. Around the outfield from left to right, Wes Davis, Mike Kerner, and Tom Bernhardt. Larson, the junior college transfer, has exploded on the scene and will play a big part in next week's Major League Draft. Jason Richards leads it off. 5'8" junior from Bridge City, Texas. These are two teams that can hit the baseball a long way and very often. Rice with 119 team home runs. LSU set the NCAA record this year with 178. That one's poked toward the hole. Larson can't get there, and it's a base hit for Jason Richards.
Well, this is what Richards does well. He takes pitches, gives his teammates a chance to see what the opposing player's throwing, and he also has an excellent on-base percentage. Take a look at this pitch. You can't get any closer than that. See that ball's toward the inner half of the plate, turns on it and pulls it in the hole. Even Brandon Larson can't get there.
And that is our umpire cam. And the umpires have graciously agreed to wear that to give us a better look at those pitches. Check throw over to first. Richards down there with nobody out. And Jason Cathy, the number 2 hitter, 351 on the season, including postseason stats. And there is another look as the umpire leans in over the inside shoulder. Cathy tries to bunt it and fouls it back into the stand.
Kind of interesting. You use umpire and gracious in the same breath there.
Well, it won't happen again. I couldn't expect you to use it. They've always been very kind to me.
Right. I was speaking more on the major league level anyway. That's an excellent view. I mean, you see right through the mask. This is what he sees.
0-1 to Cathy from Thompson. Made the all-tournament team in the South Regional. Got 2 wins. Oklahoma and South Alabama were his victims there. Breaking ball stays high.
We talked about the fact that they tried to bunt on the first pitch, and he talked about the fact that these guys are both teams have good hitting lineups. But that tells you what Wayne Graham thinks about this first game. He feels like you've got to win the first ball game. So he'll do everything that he can to win this ball game. He'll pull out all stops in this first ball game.
Well, you don't have to be a head coach in college baseball for very long to realize once you fall into that loser's bracket, it's almost death. It's almost impossible to get out. And especially here in Omaha, it just kills your pitching staff. Late swing, foul, look out. That one got back there in a hurry. 1-2 to Joseph Cathy. And especially with the dearth of pitching that we have this year, and most of the teams that are here, you want to win desperately that first game to really set up your pitching staff for the rest of the week. Another late swing and foul.
Real good pitcher. Fastball on the inside part of the plate. You see how late Cathy is. But he does stay alive. There you see the young fellow that was hit by the line drive.
This one's tapped down toward first and will go foul. Scooped up by Furness. The count rides at 1-2. Young man looked like he was going to be all right.
Yeah.
Ought to earn you a couple of cotton candies in the next couple of innings. Thompson staring into Horton to get the sign. 1-2.
Well, you can see that Thompson is trying to make a concerted effort to make sure that Richardson doesn't get a good jump at first base. Richardson runs well, but they just do not steal a lot of bases.
Skip Bertman says it's put it the best perspective this morning when we met with him. He said everybody now plays for the 3-run, 4-run, 5-run inning. It's become big ball, Earl Weaver type baseball.
Yeah, Earl would be proud of the way the college game has evolved into pitching, a little defense, and the 3-run homer.
And then another 3-run homer. Snap throw over. Richards, 6 out of 10, but only 6 all year as a leadoff man. It didn't used to be that way, and in recent memory, LSU ran a lot more than they do now. Called strike 3, so Thompson gets his first out.
Well, that surprises me because he fought off some tough pitches. I guess he just could not pick up the spin on this breaking ball, but watch this. I mean, it just seems like he freezes because he had fought off some tough pitches, actually tougher than that. But he just takes it, and you see that ball right on the outside corner for strike 3. He must have been looking for a fastball or looking for something else, but he had fought off some good pitches.
Home plate umpire Bob Hernandez not making the early call and waited for the pitch to come in there, and it did catch a part of the outside part of the plate. Lance Berkman, staggering numbers this year. 41 homers, 134 RBIs. That's ridiculous. They lead the nation. And Joe, you pointed out earlier, the prevailing wind at Rice blows in.
It's not like Oklahoma State, for instance, where it's a hitter's ballpark. Rice is not a hitter's ballpark.
Berkman is also hitting a crisp .438 for a batting average. 23 of his home runs have come from the left side, 18 from the right. But the 18 from the right have come in only 90 at-bats. 1 out of every 5 at-bats from the right side is a homer. And he has been on a tear lately, hitting .455 in his last 25 games.
Well, everyone thinks he's more natural from the left side, but that's because he gets more at-bats. But his true side is the right side.
First team All-American. Fouls this one back into the stands. 1-1.
One of the things I learned a long time ago about a hitter, if he can get underneath the breaking ball that tells you that you better not throw him too many. And the catcher's going out to talk to him about that because he threw him the breaking ball there and he got underneath it. Usually you might pull it foul or you ground it foul, but to get underneath the breaking ball like that tells the catcher that he was right on that pitch, and so he goes out to talk to him.
Berkman also had 108 hits this year, and that's the WAC record for base hits. Also set a WAC record for runs scored, and this one gets away from the catcher Horton, and down to second goes Richards.
You could see they did learn something. They came back with a high fastball. They were not going to throw him that breaking ball again, and they came back with a high fastball. He goes up and out of the zone. Well, the ball just seemed to get there a little quicker than the catcher thought it was going to get there. Maybe he was looking breaking ball too, or called a breaking ball, and Thompson threw him something else, but that pitch was right there for him to be able to catch.
Pass ball on Horton. So a runner in scoring position with one down. 1-2 to Berkman. Didn't go after this one. 2-2. See his numbers from the Central Regional where he was the MVP. And nobody has found a way to get this guy out this year, or keep him in the ballpark for that matter. This one's foul off the right side.
Well, so far in this at-bat, they've done a good job. After he fouled off that one pitch, he should have probably hit it, but he fouled it back. They came back with two high fastballs, and then they took something off of that pitch right there and had him a little bit out front. So they're changing speeds well on him. I think that's all you can do against good hitters. Just try to change the speed.
He's listed at 6'1", 210. He looks bigger than that. And went after a curveball in the dirt, struck him out. They'll have to throw him out, and Horton does. So nice job by the pitcher, Doug Thompson. He gets his second strikeout of the inning, and the most dangerous player he will probably face in all of the College World Series goes down on strikes his first time up.
Well, the great thing here is he starts this in the strike zone, but it ends up, see, it's in the strike zone and it breaks out. If he throws a strike with that, I'm sure that Berkman might be able to handle it. But you see, with two strikes, you can get hitters to chase pitches out of the strike zone. He wouldn't have chased that pitch if he did not have two strikes.
And Horton especially good at going down after balls in the dirt. This one is Bubba Crosby, and Crosby gets it a ton to the wall and caught in right field by Bernhardt. Reached over the top of the wall over the yellow stripe and just made the catch. Nearly a two-run inning, but they come up empty, and Doug Thompson will lead the applause.
Well, first of all, the wind is blowing in. That's the only thing that keeps this ball in the ballpark, because when he hit it, I didn't think there was any way that this ball would stay in, but a nice play out there by Bernhardt to stay with it. But I mean, when he hit that ball, it looked like it was gone, but and you see Wayne Graham shaking his head. He said he hit that ball well enough to get it out of here.
No runs and a man left at the end of a half an inning. Let's take a look at the AE Sports starting lineup for LSU. Danny Higgins, the DH. He'll lead it off, followed by Blair Barbier at second base. Brandon Larson, the shortstop, hits third. Then Eddie Furness at first base. Mike Kerner, the center fielder, in the 5 slot. Trey McClure, the 6th hitter, the third baseman. Bernhardt had just made that play in right, hits 7th, followed by Wes Davis, the left fielder, and Conan Horton, the catcher, bats 9th.
There you see Brandon Larson. I mean, he's the guy. If you look at, we talk about athletes now being bigger and stronger and faster. Well, he definitely is bigger and stronger. He's over 6 feet tall and a shortstop. He is one of the true stars in the college game this year. And Eddie Furness, he's a guy that I was really impressed with last year. He played really well. He had big numbers last year, not so big this year, I think, because they pitched around him in a lot of situations. But he is still a dangerous clutch hitter.
Jeff Nichols gets the start.
And Nichols is a guy that throws 85 miles an hour. He doesn't throw real hard, but he's a good competitor. I mean, he throws a curveball, which is not his best pitch. His changeup, neither one of those are great pitches, but they can get the job done. He also throws a circle change every once in a while.
And for more on the Rice pitchers who will have to face this lineup, let's check in with Larry Conley. Larry.
Thanks, Mike. I had a chance to visit with John Prather, who is the pitching coach at Rice, before the game. And I asked him, I said, are you a little reluctant to throw a freshman out there against a club that just set the record for home runs in the season with 178? He was very affirmative. He says, no. He says, this young man can pitch. Pitch is a pitch, location is location, and he got us here with 10 wins. He's very, very positive about this young man.
Well, the only problem there is sometimes when you're young, that there is a certain amount of inexperience there. As you take a look at the lineup, the defensive lineup for Rice.
Bertman, in particular, an outstanding defender at first base. Richards at second, Cathy at short, Baker at third. And the leadoff hitter, Danny Higgins, the DH, who has 10 home runs, is a leadoff man. 178 for this team. And just about everybody with power, only one man in the lineup has less than 10 home runs this season. That's the number 9 hitter, Horton. So they come to hit.
And hit it a long way.
The wind sort of quartering, blowing in from left center. This one's chopped on the ground down to first. Bertman with a nice backhand play to the pitcher covering, one gone. Bertman has saved this club several times this year with his glove, which you don't expect from a big power hitter. He's pretty nifty around first base.
Well, he's really worked at it, and he's become a very good first baseman.
Blair Barbier stands in. Freshman from Harvey, Louisiana. Junior college experience. Freshman All-America from Collegiate Baseball magazine and made the second team All-SEC team. And considering how much that conference is loaded, pretty good job for a freshman. Kid with power, 15 home runs this year and 55 RBIs. So freshman against freshman here in the bottom of the first. No score, Rice and LSU. Fastball catches the corner. Just imagine what the pitchers think when they get to this ballpark and the wind is blowing in. They're so grateful for the opportunity to be able to throw their stuff and still keep the ball in the ballpark.
Well, there are two theories on that too. One is that when the wind is blowing in, it really takes away from your curveball a little bit. When it's blowing against you out, it makes your curveball a little sharper. So that's one thing that pitchers talk about. It with the wind, they don't have as good a curveball. A little better fastball, but not as good a curveball. He's not supposed to be throwing real hard, but he's got pretty good snap on his fastball in that his release is pretty quick. I mean, like he snaps it on you and it gets there in a hurry.
LSU has not gone without a home run since the next to the last game in the College World Series last year. They have played 66 this year, 67 counting the championship game last year, where they have hit at least one home run. And Brandon Larson, who has 37 dingers along with a .381 average, is in there. 0-1 to Larson. And Skip Bertman was very clear about it this morning. He said he is the reason we are here. In the dirt. They returned only 2 position players from last year's championship team. So he had to rebuild. But as he's shown the ability to do all throughout the 90s, he comes back with another club that can get him to the College World Series. Larson Jason reaches for this toward Richards at second, on to Cathy for the force, and Berkman for the double play. 4-6-3. They get the dangerous Larson to ground into a double play. And at the end of one, we are scoreless. Rice and LSU. Go to the top of the second with Rice and LSU scoreless. 5, 6, 7 men in the order coming up for the Owls. Will Ford will lead it off. One of the Rice players who runs quite well, hitting .305, has some pop with 9 homers this year. Out of Houston, Texas. He had been in a big slump and came out of it in postseason. In the conference tournament and the NCAA playoffs. He's raised his average over 50 points to get over 300. And you love to have a hot hitter coming into the College World Series. Inside with a fastball.
It's never a truer statement than it's not who's the best team, but who plays the best in this short period of time. And if therefore it may not be the best hitter who has the best series. It's just a matter of who's hot at the right time, and things happen differently. He was struggling for a while. Now he's very hot.
Fouls this one straight back. Jammed him inside. 3-2. And Joe, there's always somebody who's hitting .245 or something who comes through with 5 or 6 hits in this series and becomes a star after being unknown coming in. That's always fun to see, too.
Yes, it is. I mean, I think, we're just go back to last year. Morris hadn't hit a home run the entire season.
Right.
It's his only home run of the year to win the College World Series in the final game in the bottom of the ninth. You don't get any more dramatic than that.
Timing is everything. Here's the 3-2. Hit on the ground. Furness comes up with it and will make the play unassisted. One gone here in the top of the second.
Well, their shadows are starting to creep out over home plate. You can see that the pitcher's in the sunlight. The batter's in a little bit of a shadow. And it's not only difficult for the hitter to see, it's also difficult sometimes for the defense to see because the ball is coming out of the shadows into the bright sunlight.
And the worst time of all for right fielder Tom Bernhardt, who's out there with the sun in his eyes, coming over the rim of the stadium. Notorious sun field here at Rosenblatt. Bernhardt, of course, made the brilliant catch to end the first inning. Strike called to McLaughlin, the catcher, hitting .288. He doesn't have a home run this year. Breaking ball in there for called strike 2.
I think that may be the best off-speed pitch he's thrown the entire ball game. He had great arm speed with that. A lot of times, especially on the college level, the pitcher will slow his arm down when he wants to throw something off speed.
Then a fastball line right back up the middle. Second hit of the ball game for the Owls of Rice. And with one out, McLaughlin is on to bring up Justin Berg.
When you're young and you see real well, sometimes it's very difficult to sneak that fastball by you, even in the shadows. He tried to sneak a fastball by him after throwing that off-speed pitch, and it just did not work.
When you say something like that, you reveal a lot. You know that?
Hey, when you're young, you can really see the fastball. As they say in the big leagues, throw the young guys curveball and the old guys fastballs.
Big cut by Justin Berg, the DH, 0-1. Berg, a very aggressive hitter. Also a tough kid. In the fall, he was hit flush in the mouth by a fastball. He said that led to 30 stitches, 4 root canals, and an .083 batting average. So he's also got a sense of humor, along with some new bridge work.
You're right, because sometimes something like that can lead to retirement, too.
Yeah.
A lot of guys do not want to play after getting hit in the face.
You go out and see if there's an opening on the golf team.
Yeah.
On a streak, hitting nearly 500 during that span. He's in an 0-2 hole against Thompson. Protective swing. Just got a piece of it. Excuse me, he didn't get a piece of it. He's gone.
I thought I heard something as well, but obviously the umpire's closer to it.
Heard a tick of something.
I heard a tick, yeah. Well, maybe it was just the ball hitting the ground that we heard, but good breaking ball there. So to me, that's how you have to pitch in college baseball. You have to try to get ahead of the hitters and get them to chase the breaking ball. You throw the breaking ball for a strike, and they can still handle it.
It's a strikeout and a wild pitch charged to Thompson. He has his third strikeout. That is ripped by Jacob Baker to left center. That'll get the run home. Cut off by Kerner in center. He'll hold it to a single. But it's an RBI for Baker, and Rice takes a 1-0 lead.
And one thing you can't do is make mistakes right in the middle. See, that's another breaking ball, but it's a strike. And he hammers it over shortstop into left center field. If you can get ahead of him and get him to chase the breaking ball, then you're in good shape. But if you have to throw it for a strike like that, and that one was just kind of rolling, you saw the rotation on it, but it wasn't a real tight rotation. That one's just rolling a little bit.
And it was the wild pitch that put the runner in scoring position and allowed McLaughlin to score on the long single. J.J. Savarino, who really was chosen to be in the starting lineup today because of his defense. He has had only 25 at-bats all year and has 10 base hits, hitting a crisp 400. Taps this one foul down the third base side. Next would be the top of the order and Jason Richards with a runner on and 2 men out here in the second inning. Rice with a 1-0 lead. They have 3 hits on the ball game. Getting the lead in the opening game of the series, a very big point for either ball club. It lessens the tension a little bit. Sailing fastball. 1-2.
In a short series, well, it's double elimination, but it's still short. You have a tendency to press a little bit until you do score some runs. So I agree with you. The quicker you score, the sooner you will relax.
That one's in the dirt. Nice block by Horton.
Well, he definitely earns his money. He stays down on those breaking balls in the dirt. Take a look at this one. It bounces in front of him, but he keeps it in front of him. He just uses his body as a shield. That's excellent defense right there. Let it hit you in the chest. Don't try to catch it all the time.
Here's the 2-2, called strike 3. The 4th strikeout for Thompson, but a wild pitch and a couple of base hits produced the first run. The Owls are on top after 1.5. Buenas noches from Omaha. I don't know where they got those. I didn't see a concession stand for that particular style of chapeau, but they have matching hats. We go to the bottom of the second. LSU looking for its first base hit, and now down 1-0, and Eddie Furness, the junior from Nacogdoches, Texas, will lead it off. Furness hitting .369.
Last year he had over 100 RBIs, but you know, when you come back to college baseball, a lot of times they're not going to pitch to you after you set records and had a great season the year before.
And Brandon Larson in front of him has most of the RBIs on the team. He smashes this down the first baseline. Furness on his way to second as Ford retrieves it, and it's a 2-base hit for Eddie Furness.
As I said before, he impressed me last year just by watching him. His approach to the ball, he had a quick bat. And we'll take a look at this pitch. The first pitch was a fastball inside. This one is tried to get in again, but he just rips it down into the corner. And he goes into second base with a double. He is a fine left-handed hitter.
He is also, in his last semester, 4-0 in pre-med. So if the bat and glove don't work out, there's something waiting. Mike Kerner, the center fielder, second on the team with 20 home runs this year. He has 61 ribbies. Working against Jeff Nichols, who's nursing a 1-run lead. And the first hit of the ball game for LSU, a 2-bagger by Furness, his 25th double of the season. something off of that one.
That one,
2.
You could see him change his motion just a little bit there, but you know, I talked about how Thompson, you could not see him slow his arm speed down, but here he slows down just a little bit. Right there at the top, you could see him lose a little arm speed.
In the dirt, and it gets by McLaughlin, and over to third goes Furness. So a runner at third with nobody out here in the bottom of the second.
Well, we talked about getting him to chase the breaking ball with 2 strikes. That one didn't start in the strike zone, so no chance. But you also see the difference in the way that McLaughlin went after that ball. He tried to catch it, and we had seen earlier in the inning when Horton just dropped down in front of it and let it bounce off his chest.
This was ripped right back off the pitcher's glove. Nichols got a piece of it, but it's an RBI single for Kerner. Kerner scores easily. It's tied at 1.
Good hitting. You go right back through the middle with 2 strikes. That pitch is right out over the plate, and he lines it right back through the middle. That is good hitting with 2 strikes. Don't try to do too much with it. Just aim right back through the middle and hit a line drive. Works sometimes.
That'll bring up Trey McClure. 291 on the year with a runner at first, nobody out. Tied at 1 here in the second. More power here, 12 homers, 42 runs batted in. McClure from Baker, Louisiana, was the outstanding player in the South 1 Regional. In .435 in that tournament.
And Skip said he's a very good clutch hitter. He seems to be the guy that can handle any type of pressure that builds up during a ball game. Another change up.
Yeah. Pretty one, too. I think it's tough to get young kids to throw changeups. They want the power pitches.
Well, not only that, if you don't fool him.
This one's hit towards short. Cathy will take it himself at second, throw on to first, double play as Berkman digs the ball out of the dirt.
I always believe that in College World Series, infield play will ultimately decide who wins and loses this, not just the pitching. Good play here by the shortstop. He runs over. Even though he bounced the ball to first base, he got rid of it quickly, and he gave the first baseman a good hop.
2 double plays in as many innings turned by the LSU infield. This one's wrapped right back up the middle by Bernhardt. Three hits in the inning, a run across, and now 2 outs. And Bernhardt, who came in hitting .302.
Well, everything back through the middle usually will go through for a base hit. And that was just a ground ball back up the middle for a base hit.
That'll bring up Wes Davis, a .283 hitter with Bernhardt down at first. Nichols misses with that one, 1-0. Throw over to first. Nothing going on with Bernhardt. One of the LSU players who does run well. This one's hit sky high on the infield. Berkman looking up into the sun and will make the play. That's the end of the inning. 3 hits and a run, a man left at the end of 2. We're tied at 1. Go to the top of the third. Rice and LSU, both with 3 hits and a run apiece. We're tied as we go to the top of the 3rd inning, and this is bracket 1. Stanford and Auburn playing earlier this afternoon. Stanford a winner. And tomorrow, UCLA against Miami at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then we'll be back 7:30 tomorrow night for top-seeded Alabama against Mississippi State. A 7:30 start on ESPN. Sean McDonough and Fred Lynn will bring you that first game on CBS. Beautiful late afternoon. The wind blowing in from left center. And Jason Richards, who was 1 for 1, will lead it off here in the third. Singled his first time up. Makes a fastball high 2-0.
Even though we talked about how well he gets on base from the leadoff spot, he also has some pop in his bat. You know, he had 9 home runs.
Hit hard toward third. Nice play by McClure, and throws him out. McClure ranging to his left makes the play. And 1 gone here in the third.
That's good technique there. Either you catch the ball on the big hop or the short hop. He got it on the short hop. Place you do not want to get it is on the in-between hop. Now watch, you'll see right there on the short hop. And he comes up and throws a strike to first base.
Cathy comes up a strikeout victim in the first inning. 1 of 4 strikeouts registered by Thompson so far. Rolled towards second. Barbier comes up and throws to Furnace. 2 quickly gone here in the third.
The one thing that Thompson is doing here is keeping the ball down. Both of those pitches were down, and that one he took a little bit off. Took a little speed off of it and got a little ground ball to second base.
Came into the College World Series number 12 in the nations in strikeouts per 9 with 11.7. Has 4 already, but as we can already tell, excellent command of some other pitches as well.
I think his key is to stay out in front of the hitters, as he's been able to do. Stay in front, you can get them to chase your pitch.
Here's the dangerous Berkman, who struck out as well his first time up. Takes a big swing and just got a little piece of it. 0-2. Home plate umpire wearing that helmet cam or mask cam. And that's the perspective he gets from the inside shoulder.
How about the ump cam?
Okay. Bob Hernandez working behind the plate. Out of Laguna Nigel, California, and this one's ripped to left, but right at Wes Davis. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the bottom of the third. 1-1, Rice and LSU. Bottom of the third, LSU comes up in a 1-1 tie with Rice, and we'll start with the bottom of the order. Conan Horton, the catcher, to face Jeff Nichols. Horton's a .255 hitter, does have a little bit of power, 5 home runs this year. Just outside with a fastball. Junior college transfer, who's in there for his defense, and the only married LSU player on the College World Series roster. Breaking ball catches the corner, 1-1. Had a good regional, hit .400. Had 3 singles and 3 RBIs in the championship game against South Alabama. Fastball on the inside part of the plate, 1-2.
Well, you see Nichols moving the ball around. He threw him a breaking ball over the outside corner and then popped the fastball on the inside corner. That keeps you honest, but the problem is a lot of times you can get 2 strikes on these hitters. Being able to put them away is usually the problem.
Yep. This one's hit in the air to left. Savarino settles under. 1 gone. We invite you to join us for live action of the championship round of the 1997 NCAA Division I Men's Golf Tournament. It tees off tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. on ESPN. That's 2:30 Eastern. Always some great golf and stars in the future. If you watched it in the past, you've seen Tiger Woods for Stanford in that event. Back to the top of the order, Danny Higgins. who bounced out to first base to lead off the ball game. In the dirt, 2-0. Miss low, 3-0.
He took a little bit off there. He didn't want to throw a fastball down the middle. 2-0.
Issued only one walk so far. Gets the 3-0 in there for 3-1. Looking for the walk, and Higgins gets it. Second walk issued by Nichols. And Barbier, who got the first one, will come up with 1 out and 1 on.
So far in this situation, he's been able to go to the sinker and get the ground ball. Turned 2 double plays in the first 2 innings.
He could use one here. Larson is the man on deck. You love to have the leading home run hitter lead off an inning rather than come up with a couple of guys on. Runner goes and will make it without a throw.
Well, he picked a great pitch to run on. He got a good jump. And I think Nichols was concentrating on throwing a strike. And it's an off-speed pitch. So Higgins just takes off, and you see it's an off-speed pitch. And no chance for McLaughlin to come up and throw him out.
So stolen base and a runner in scoring position with only 1 gone.
Like he needs a change of belts. His belt broke.
LSU with the NCAA record, 178 homers. The last 12 years they have been here 9 times, and they have 29 come from behind wins this year.
Well, when you see a team with a lot of come from behind wins, that tells you that they do have a lot of power, which we're already aware with LSU, but you have to have some power to be able to consistently come from behind. You're not going to usually be able to put 8 or 9 hits in a row to make up a 3 or 4 run deficit. So you need to be able to hit the ball out of the ballpark. There you see he holds it in his curveball grip, and then he might change it once he gets it in the glove.
2-1 to Barbier, and that's foul down the third baseline. 2-2.
There's a young fella that probably thinks one of these days I'll be out there playing at the College World Series.
Get Larry Conley to write his name down and keep track of it. We only have to wait another 15, 16 years. Hopefully we'll still be here.
I was going to say, that's a while for us to still be observed.
Tap back up the middle, doesn't get through. Nice stop by Cathy, and then Cathy makes a dangerous throw toward first. Had no chance to get him. First you make the great play, and then nearly the big mistake. So it's an infield single.
Well, we talked about hitting the ball back through the middle. This is a great example. You do not even have to hit the ball hard. Watch, he hits this ball off the end of the bat, but he doesn't hit it hard. You see the pitcher falling off to the first base side. I mean, that's just a slow roller, but it still becomes a base hit, and you're exactly right. Cathy should have just held this ball. Now he comes up. Well, he actually lost his footing. He might have been able to make a little better throw, but still not a wise move, but a great stop to keep the run from scoring.
Runners at the corners for Larson, 1 out. And Nichols in a big jam now. He's been able to get out of the first 2 innings with double plays. throw over to first, and Barbier is back.
That was kind of a real tricky move. Normally, you have to make sure you raise your foot toward third, and then go to the first base. I don't think he made a distinct move toward third base there.
I do not remember a balk being called since I've been in Omaha.
Well, technically, you know, years and years ago, that was a balk. It should be a balk because the rule book says you shouldn't do anything to change your motion to deceive the runner. And if you're not trying to deceive the runner, who are you trying to deceive? Definitely not the hitter. So,
swing and a miss. 0-2 to Larson.
I argued that point to no avail when I was playing. I said the rule book states that you can't deceive the runner, you know, and that's definitely a deceptive move. Doesn't work, but at least they try it. You can see him change his grip there to throw to first base. He was going to throw a curveball to the plate, so he had to change his grip in order to throw to first base.
Gwynn and Ramos warming in the bullpen. Another nice stop by McLaughlin.
And he came back with the curveball anyway.
One and two to Larson, with Higgins at third and Barbier at first. Just missed 2-2.
Well, that's the type of pitch you're trying to get the hitter to chase it. And if he goes out there and gets that, he's probably going to hit it on the ground. And you get the ground ball that you want and try to get out of this inning. So excellent pitch there from Nichols.
Possible double play to second for one, on to first, not in time. Run scores.
Well, they called him out at second base. They're saying that
slid into it.
Yes. Said he did a pop-up slide.
You can't take out a man in college baseball. It is interference.
Well, that's what they call, so it's a double play. Well, they really didn't have a chance to complete this double play. But you see he pops up. I think that's why he called it on him. He slid down and then he popped up. You get a little different view of it there. But if he stays down, I don't think they call that, because the second baseman didn't try to avoid it. He stood right there. But when the guy pops up, I think that's where the problem came in.
It's by rule. If he commits that play, it is interference. Skip Bertman will argue in vain. 3 double plays in 3 innings, so we are still tied at 1. Let's go back to that double play that ended the LSU 3rd inning. And, Joe, take us through this.
I think you'll see it's a correct call by college rules. Now, watch the runner. We'll take a look at it. If you can stop it as soon as right there. Now, he's okay. Right there. Now, watch when he gets on the ground. Now, if he stays down there, he's okay. But watch, he pops up. See, right there when you pop up, that's a takeout, and you can't do that in college baseball. It's a good play in the major leagues, but it's a tough play in college baseball. They don't let you get away with that. And you see Skip out there arguing, but it was the right call.
Now, I think as seeing the replay, I can almost guarantee you what he's arguing, that the contact happened after the throw was already gone, so it shouldn't make any difference. But it's the rules.
Yeah, and it does make a difference because that puts the pressure on the second baseman.
Yeah.
I don't think they were going to be able to complete the double play anyway if he would have stayed down.
Bubba Crosby will lead it off in the Rice 4th. We're tied at 1. Crosby was robbed of a possible home run in the 1st inning when Bernhardt went back to the wall and appeared to reach over the wall to make the catch.
Yeah, I thought Bubba had one there.
I did too.
Bubba hit that ball, but I still think the wind bothered it in the 1st inning, because when he swung, I thought it was out. It had the nice sound.
Chased one in the dirt, and he'll be another strikeout victim as Horton throws him out at first.
This is something really that I see more this year so far than I did all of last year. I mean, we watched a great pitcher last year, college pitcher Chris Benson, but he was having trouble putting hitters away. He had a good curveball, but he was throwing for a strike. This is the way you get college hitters out. with 2 strikes, they will have to chase that pitch down. They will go after the breaking ball. But if you do not get ahead of them and you throw a strike with that breaking ball, they can hit it. So I think you have to try to make sure, figure a way to get ahead in the count and get them to chase that pitch out of the strike zone.
Will Ford grounded out to first, his first time up.
And I see the pitchers, both pitchers so far this year, doing a better job at that than I saw all of last year.
They really are. There have been a lot of breaking balls in the dirt. And I think it's something more and more college pitchers are going to, because you can't jam guys very well. They'll fist the ball into left center or right center for a base hit, even if you saw them off.
You're right. There it is again. That's excellent pitching right there.
Barbier throws him out on the routine grounder. 2 gone here in the 4th.
And we talked about it earlier, but both pitchers were keeping the ball down anyway, but they're doing a great job when they get ahead with that curveball. The real danger of the breaking ball, obviously, if you hang it. But they're doing a good job of making sure they get that pitch down. Well, and that's the reason we're 1-1.
Absolutely.
And not, your normal 12-10. It may change if they tire and start getting the ball up. But as long as they're keeping the ball down like that, the hitters are not going to be able to hurt them.
Hit hard but foul outside at first. Before our meeting this morning with LSU, my first question to Skip Bertman in the hall is, where's all the pitching? And he said, drafted out of high school.
Well, they need them in the major leagues very quickly. And the sooner you can get them into pro ball, the sooner you can teach them how to pitch and get to the big leagues. So he's probably correct. There, in the past, they grab them out of college. That's where they get their pitchers from. But now, because there's a shortage of pitchers in the major leagues, they're getting them a little earlier.
McLaughlin has scored the only run of the ball game for Rice after he singled back in the 2nd inning. Facing a 1-2 count here, nobody on and 2 out in the Rice 4th in a rapidly moving game here at Rosenblatt Stadium.
There it is again.
In the dirt, struck him out, and they'll throw him out. Horton has been a busy guy behind the plate. The 6th strikeout for Doug Thompson. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. Rice and LSU tied at 1.
Welcome back to Omaha. Now, we have a very special mask, and you heard Mike Patrick refer to it as the camera mask, or the mask, or the camera on the mask. This is the camera right here that the umpire is wearing. This is the camera controller. This is the transmitter right here. Now, that transmitter sends those pictures up to that receiver up there. Now, Mike, I got to tell you, I have no idea how all this works. All I know is people are sitting at home and watching it, and if they're listening to me, I don't want to confuse them, because this is from a guy who doesn't even have a computer.
Well, our thanks to the umpires as well as the NCAA for getting their permission to use this view.
I think baseball is at a point where they need to show a different look, try different things. I think no one should be afraid of change.
Eddie Furness, the cleanup hitter, will lead it off. He doubled his first time up and scored the LSU run back in the 2nd inning. Hit hard and through past a diving Baker into left field. So Furness is 2 for 2.
And that's what I liked about him last year. He'll take the ball to left field. He pulled the ball the first time up. This pitch is out over the plate. Fastball away. You see where it was, right out there on the edge, and he just lines it to left field for a base hit. Good hitting.
5th base hit off of Nichols. Who's been the beneficiary of 3 double plays to stay out of trouble. Kerner, who singled in the only LSU run, comes up at 352. Took something off and was ahead on it.
That was a better changeup than the ones he had thrown earlier, motion wide. He had good arm speed there. He didn't slow his motion down. Inside and low, 2-1.
scuffed the left-hander Mario Ramos, and Mark Gwynn, the right-hander, in the Rice bullpen. Throw over Kerner, waiting at the plate, and Furness gets back ahead of the throw. Checked his swing, 3-1. Nichols working himself into a jam here. Hit high in the air to shallow left down the line. Coming on, Savarino. And there's one gone. The 97 Summer X Games travel to San Diego this year. Action in 11 events kicks off Saturday, June 21st to 28th on ESPN and ESPN2. Got to get you ready for sky surfing. That looks like fun.
Yeah, it looks like fun. I don't snowboard. I use regular skis. I don't jump out of parachutes. I don't use parachutes. I don't do anything.
I go by that old motto, why jump out of a perfectly good airplane?
Yeah.
Trey McClure takes one outside. Well, I'm told if George Bush can do it, you should.
Well, George is a good friend of mine, but I don't follow him that way. I followed him when he led the country, but not out of these airplanes.
Not out of a door.
No.
McClure grounded into a double play, takes this one outside, 2-1. Nichols has been very fortunate so far. A couple of walks and 5 hits through 3 1/3. And trails hard-hitting LSU, or is tied with hard-hitting LSU, 1-1. Comes way inside to McClure and issues his 3rd walk.
Well, this is the only thing that can get him in trouble, is not being able to throw strikes, falling behind the hitters. And as you mentioned, he's been fortunate, but you have to give him a little credit as well in that he needed the ground balls and he got them. Of course, you know, anybody can pitch with no one on base. How do you get out of jams is the way you grade a pitcher. He got the ground balls in the first 3 innings that he needed, and they were able to turn them. I guess he's hungry there.
Well, he's sure not taking any time with it.
He doesn't want to miss a pitch.
8 base runners so far for LSU. This is Bernhardt with runners on. There's a Tapper foul.
Well, you're right. He got the 5 base hits and the 3 walks. That's 8. But he's also been able to get the ground balls. And if he can get one here, you know, they'll remain tied. So it's just a tougher act for him to follow. Thompson's, you know, keeping their guys off, but he's pitching well also just by holding the runs down.
Well, if that's the way you grade pitchers, he gets an A so far,
you're right.
boy.
Well, you have to remember now, he's pitching against a pretty good lineup.
Yes, he is.
And he's been able to keep the ball in the ballpark and keep it on the ground. But if he gets it up there too many times, he's going to be in trouble.
1-1 to Bernhardt. Runners at first and second.
And I think that's what Wayne's going out to tell him. Hey, get the ball down. If you're tired, I'll bring someone else in. But you can't. And usually that's what happens as you start to get a little tired. You know, your release point drops. You drop your arm, and the ball starts to go a little higher. You know, sail on you a little bit. And you remember, you know, it's not about really being physically tired. You get mentally tired too, because this is a big game for this young kid. You know, pitching under this type of pressure.
1-1 to Bernhardt. Graham with a very short visit. This one's dumped into right for a base hit. Ford comes on. Rounding third is Furness. Here's the throw to the plate, not nearly in time. And the runners advance to second and third on the throw.
And a bad play in the outfield there. You let both runners move up in the scoring position. You could have kept runners at first and second and kept the double play in order, because he had no shot at the plate. This is a good pitch. It's a breaking ball away, but again, that's what the aluminum bat does for you. He gets enough of that ball to bloop it over. He didn't even hit a line drive. He still blooped it over. Now here's the throw. Now look how high this ball is. It can't be cut off all the way to the plate. Runner scores. Runner goes to second when the other runner goes to third, and that's what gets you in trouble. Now that you have to play the infield in.
That's just adrenaline overcoming your training. Runners at second and third for Wes Davis, who popped up his first time.
As an outfielder, you have to always remember, just keep the double play in order.
LSU bidding for more. Hit toward third. Baker will come to the plate, and they've got him.
Well, they got a little lucky there, except as we talked, Nichols does, get the ground ball. But if they had kept the runners at first and second, he may have been out of the inning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, one hopper to the third baseman. Baker comes home, makes a quick release, throws it on the inside. Good setup there by the catcher, McLaughlin. Now watch, Baker catches the ball. Now the catcher gets on the inside so that he can give him a target so he doesn't hit the runner in the back. That's good coordination there between the third baseman and the catcher. And you see he's going out to tell them what they're going to do in case the runner at first base breaks. He's telling them whether he's going to throw through or whether he's going to hold it or whether he's going to go throw to third base. You have three different options there.
Hit in the air to shallow center. Crosby coming on, but going back to shortstop Cathy. He'll make the play. Ends the inning, but LSU gets a run to take a 2-1 lead after 4. LSU has taken the lead 2-1 as we go to the Rice half of the 5th inning. And Doug Thompson has done a good job shutting down the Owls, especially the 2, 3, 4, 5 part of the order. They are a combined 0 for 8. We'll get the bottom third of the order here in this inning with Berg, Baker, and Savarino. Berg, one of Thompson's 6 strikeout victims so far. And Thompson has his A game going tonight.
You're right. I mean, he's got excellent control of his pitches. That's the main thing that has going for him. Look at this breaking ball. Starts right on the outside corner and then breaks right off. Nothing you can do with that as a hitter. That one's a little better for him to hit.
Larson, the long throw, got him 1 out. That looked like another breaking ball that hung up in his eyes.
It did. It hung up and inside as well. It might, in fact, it tied him up a little bit because it was so far inside. If it had been out over the plate, he may have been able to hit it a little harder someplace.
Jacob Baker comes up, had an RBI single, his only trip back in the 2nd inning. Thompson, 61 pitches so far, only 16 of them outside the strike zone. Another nice hook right on the corner. Another breaking ball fouled straight back on a weak swing by Baker.
Well, another nice pitch, but a curveball gets you one of 2 ways and sometimes both ways. The curveball can get you but the break of the ball or the speed. And that time, the first one was the break of the ball over the outside part. That was the speed fooled him.
Fastball high on 0-2. So through 4 1/3, Thompson has given up only 2 hits, struck out 6, hasn't walked a batter. Savarino, the number 9 hitter on deck. If he could keep it alive, either he or Baker, we'd go back to the top of the order for Richards, who has one of the 2 hits. Breaking ball hit him.
Well, I think he was smart enough to let that one hit him. He just kind of stuck his shoulder out there. He was behind in the count. With 2 strikes on him, he just decided, hey, I'm not going to move. Watch his front shoulder. See him turn it back. He started to pull away, and then he just kind of put it back in. Watch him, starts to pull away, and now he just kind of leans back in. Smart hitter. You're down with 2 strikes. Might as well try to get on any way you can.
And thankful that it was a breaking ball.
Well, I don't think he would have done that last ball.
Tough to stick that elbow up there against one at 88. Try to bunt pop it straight up in the air. Horton will make the catch. And good base running by Baker down there, not taking off. making sure the ball was going to hit the ground before he left.
Well, not a bad play. I think it was a good play. Savarino runs well. He was trying to drop it down the third baseline, but he popped it up.
Back to the top of the order for Richards, with 2 out and a runner aboard. Thompson gets the breaking ball over the inside corner. Beaten 9 top 25 teams this year, has Thompson. Of course, if you compete in the SEC, you're facing a top 25 team, it seems, every time you turn around. 4 here in the College World Series. Several others had excellent years and didn't make it, like the Florida Gators. Pitch out, nothing going on. You see less and less of that, too, with people not playing little ball here anymore.
Yeah, I was actually wondering why they would pitch out there with two outs and him ahead of the hitter.
Throw over to first, and Baker is back. Baker with only 5 stolen bases this year. Another throw over, as he had a pretty good lead that time and nearly caught him leaning.
A lot of times if you pitch out, they know you're not going to pitch out again, so sometimes you try to get a jump. You see, he did make one false step towards second base. But you're 100% sure he's not going to pitch out, so try to take your liberties.
Time called. Wayne Graham may be thinking, with the leadoff hitter up there, let's see if we can get something going. Because they have had no success against Thompson, and sometimes you do change your philosophy depending on the style of the ball game.
Well, that's true, and then not only that, if you make him aware of you at first base and the fact that you might go, I mean, that takes a little bit of his concentration away from the hitter. He's thinking about you a little bit over at first base.
Two and one to Richards. And Thompson steps off the rubber. Great exchange in the hall between our meetings today, between Skip Bertman and Wayne Graham. Skip said, "How old are you, Coach?" And he said, "I'm 60. I used to dye my hair, but I got the job I want, so I don't dye it anymore." Fastball gets away from the catcher. Horton got a glove on it. We'll wait to see the ruling. It looked like a passed ball.
Yeah, I think it's a passed ball, but again, the threat or thinking that the guy might go, he might look up too quickly, or, you know, he's thinking a little bit about where is the runner, is he going or is he not going? And it's definitely a passed ball. The ball got there in the air.
So Baker now down at second, and the count 3-1 on Richards. Outside, ball 4. First walk issued by Thompson, and it gives Rice runners at first and second with 2 gone.
You can wait now. So, hey,
it may only seem like one pitch when you pitch out. Count was 1 strike and he pitched out, but it changes the whole at bat. It changes the pitcher's perception of what he's trying to do. It changes his thought process. I think he should have just, you know, he was ahead 1 strike, just go after him.
Bullpen stirring for LSU. Cathy, as a breaking ball is in there. Thompson's had great control of that, and Cathy 0 for 2 so far, struck out and grounded out to second. Has 39 RBIs this year, but he's been a table center for Berkman, who's the man on deck outside with a fastball 1-1. You don't think Berkman drooling to prospects to come up maybe with the bases loaded? Cathy's job just to keep it going. Fastball slapped toward third, and McClure makes the play unassisted. So Thompson pitches his way out of a jam with the dangerous Lance Berkman waiting on deck. We've played 4.5, 2-1 LSU. We go to the bottom of the 5th with LSU leading Rice 2-1. LSU with 6 base hits so far, and here's the way the lineup has hit for LSU. Furness and Bernhardt with multiple hits tonight. Larson, the big gun, 0 for 2 so far. And the top 3 spots only 1 for 4 combined. Higgins officially 0 for 1 with a walk. Takes a breaking ball from Nichols low. This one's tapped right back toward the mound, and Nichols with an easy play 1-3 for the first out here in the 5th. Nichols really doesn't. They'd love to get 7 innings out of him, but they don't have to go much further before they'll turn it over to Anderson, premier pitcher in college baseball. And they're not afraid to use him in longer stints. He's not just one of these guys that comes in and pitches the ninth.
Well, you'd love for him to have a lead, though, or at least be tied if you're going to bring him in that late. You'd hate to waste him for, no, I shouldn't say waste him, but you'd hate to use him for 3 innings and then not be able to bring him back 2 days from now and for 3 more. But then again, maybe he's able to do that.
Barbier takes one inside 2-0. Barbier has walked and singled. Fastball right there, 2-1. This lineup loaded with power, but Larson and Furness, the real power, are waiting to hit. Took something off and got it in 2-2.
Well, everything that Wayne Graham's told you about Nichols is coming true. I mean, he's not afraid. He's maintained his poise.
This one's popped off the fist, and Nichols called off by Berkman, and he'll make the put out. 2 gone here in the LSU half of the 5th, and Larson will come up with the bases empty.
Well, you see the pitcher going over, but actually he's supposed to yell right now who's supposed to take it, and you can see the runner has to avoid anybody that's trying to make a play, and the pitcher was trying to make a play at one point, so he's not interfering. The runner has to run away from him.
This one's hit deep in the hole. Cathy with a long throw and got him. Larson retired on the first pitch, 6-3. 3 up, 3 down for LSU. We'll go to the 6th, 2-1 Tigers. Rice is down 2-1 as we go to the Owls half of the 6th inning. Earlier today, the College World Series opened up with Stanford taking on Auburn. The Tiger defense was shoddy. 3 errors resulted in 4 unearned runs. A misplay fly that you saw by All-American Tim Hudson in the 2nd was followed by this disastrous 5th inning where Auburn couldn't do anything right. Then Stanford reliever Jeff Austin was brilliant. Came out of a bases-loaded jam in the 6th. Worked 4 scoreless innings to save it for starter Chad Hutchinson. Stanford unblemished in the tournament with an 8-3 opening game win. In Auburn, it looked like any ball hit in the air was an adventure for the Tiger outfield today. A little shaky. And they have fallen into the dreaded losers bracket.
Roll, Tide, roll!
Stanford fans.
Berkman unloads to dead center. Kerner going back, can't get there off the wall. Berkman is on his way to third. Here's the throw, and he's in with a triple. For a guy who hit 41 home runs and drove in 134, he can run a little bit.
Yes,
that's his fourth triple of the year.
But I tell you what, here's that curveball again. Now, this one's a strike. Look at him. I mean, he attacks that pitch. They got away with it the first time up. He fouled it back. This one he does not foul. I mean, he gets most of it and hits it to the deepest part of the ballpark, and he ends up with a triple.
Off the wall against the wind. Here's Bubba Crosby, the other half of the power tandem. He has 22 homers this year.
Well, they're going to play the infield back. They're going to go ahead and concede this run with no one out and a one-run lead.
What are you thinking as a hitter in this situation?
Well, you have to make sure you put the ball in play. You have to make sure. Originally, your first thought should be, I try to get something out and get into the air. And as you get deeper into the count, you have to make sure you do not. The only place you do not want to hit it is back to the pitcher. But your main thought would be, I have to put the ball in play. That should be your first thought.
Crosby's been known to swing at bad pitches, but he hits a lot of them too. Laces this one foul down the left field line. 1-1.
I think this is one of those situations where if you're Thompson, you pitch backwards as he did there. You're going to try to go after the guy with the fastball maybe and set him up. Try to even maybe get him to chase one out of the strike zone.
Breaking ball hangs high, 2-1. Of course, as a pitcher, you don't want the run to score, even though there's Darty and Demouy warming up. Demouy is the left-hander for LSU. But you can only hope for a comeback or a pop-up or a strikeout. Another line drive, foul down the right side, this time 2-2.
Well, he's gotten 2 strikes on the hitter, so now, you know, he obviously you should be thinking strike out here if you can. But sometimes, you know, you have the lead and the guy hits a leadoff triple. I mean, 90% of the time he's going to score.
Thompson has 6 strikeouts tonight.
Good pitch.
And that's called strike 3. Give him 7. So Crosby did not do his job. Joe, as you said, you've got to put the ball in play.
Well, see, that's what happens. A lot of times hitters go up there and say, I'm going to get a base hit. I got to try to get a base hit. Maybe even go up there and say, I'm going to hit a home run. But your first thought should be, I have to put the ball in play and get the runner home. And that's a good curveball there from Thompson. Now the infield is in. See, that's why the no outs situation is the most important.
Brings up Will Ford, a runner at third, now 1 gone, and he takes a called strike. Bounce to first and bounce to second.
See, they were conceding the run on any ground ball with no outs, but with 1 out, they bring the infield in. So with no outs, you have to put the ball in play.
Right back through the middle. We're tied at 2. That was in play and then some.
And that's good hitting.
59th RBI of the year for Will Ford.
Well, when you're usually power pitchers are the ones that really fall off to a side. Now watch where he falls off. He falls off way over, a la Bob Gibson, and there's no way he can field anything in that position, although Bob Gibson was a pretty good fielding pitcher. But he ends up in very awkward position, not in a good fielding position.
Runner goes, swing and a miss. The throw not nearly in time, and a stolen base for Ford, who got a great jump.
Well, smart thinking there. You take off on the changeup, and he gets a running start. Thompson did not check him that time, and he just take off. And it's a slow curveball, so no chance for Horton to throw him out. Not even close at second base. And good protection there at the plate by McClellan.
Going to third, and he's in there.
Tell you what, that was a very close play at third base there.
Yes, it was. The Cardinal rule, don't be the second out at third.
You're right. And a left-handed hitter up there, it gives a catcher a clear path to throw. Yeah, but I think he was safe. That's what that head first slide will do for you.
If you go, you better make it if you're stealing third. 12 out of 14 this year. Now a runner at third and one out. Infield comes in again. They go for the safety squeeze, and McLaughlin fouls it off. 1 and 2.
When we talked to Wayne, he was talking about how successful people had been against him with the squeeze. So right there, he tries it.
He said he didn't like the play until it was successful against him. Then he thought about it again. In the dirt, blocked well by Horton.
From a hitter's perspective, I do not like to squeeze or put a trick play on with one strike. With no strikes, okay, because then you put the hitter in the hole. And there's a breaking ball down. I mean, you can get away with this a lot, but
another breaking ball, swing and a miss. The 8th strikeout for Doug Thompson, one of the nation's leaders in that department.
Well, it's just an excellent pitch. See, that ball starts in the strike zone, and then it just goes down and away. I mean, there's nothing the hitter can do with it, but it started in the strike zone. If you start it there, they have to attack it. See, that ball was in the strike zone at one time.
It's 147 strikeouts for Thompson this season, counting 8 today. Now it's up to Berg to pick up the runner at third. Berg has struck out and grounded to short. His average has dropped to 386 on an 0 for 2 even. Just missed with that one. Thompson, 5 hits, no walks, and 8 strikeouts through 5 2/3. But he has given up the tying run here in the Rice 6th. The leadoff triple by Berkman was the big blow, and one of the few really well-hit balls off of Thompson today, and it was spanked to center. Ford has his lead off third. Outside, 2 and 2. Well, Ford has certainly done his job in the inning. He singled to drive in the run, stole second, then stole third. He's the go-ahead run. In the dirt again. Beautiful block by Horton. Horton's one of those guys that will tell the pitcher, go ahead, throw it down there, I'll block it.
And that he has a lot of confidence, of course, in his ability to block the ball. But with a runner at third, sometimes, percentages say you better raise that ball up a little bit.
The payoff pitch to Justin Berg. Foul tip, just got a piece. Certainly isn't afraid to throw that curveball in tight spots. Lost him. Only the second walk issued by Thompson, and now runners at first and third. And here comes Skip Bertman to talk to his starter.
Well, I think he wants to know how he feels because, he fell in love with the curveball right there, and I think he wants to see if he doesn't make sure he's okay, because sometimes as you get tired, you don't feel like you can throw the fastball by hitters, and you start to throw a lot of curveballs, and then pretty soon they'll start to roll. as you get tired. So I think he wants to make sure that he does feel like he has good enough fastball that he can keep the hitters honest rather than just letting them sit there and look for the breaking ball.
I think you have a better chance of having the catcher tell you the truth than the pitcher, don't you?
Well, and probably in college ball, you're right. But I think a lot of times managers learn to trust their star pitchers, and they'll tell them the truth. It's not a macho thing sometimes. You have to do what's best for the ball club. Maybe you do run out of gas, and you have to think about your teammates and say, hey, I'm finished. I don't think he is, but I mean, sometimes you have to think about it that way.
Runners at first and third, 2 gone for the number 8 hitter, Jacob Baker, who has a single and then was hit by a pitch his last time up. Has his average up to 361. Fastball catches the corner at the knees.
I think you need to use your fastball. He just fell in love with the breaking ball and he kept throwing it, and that's fine. But use your fastball. Set up the breaking ball.
Hit toward the hole. Larson with a long throw, back safe. And Rice takes the 3-2 lead.
And that was a tough play for Larson. They put more pressure on the defense by starting the runner at first base. Larson could have had a play at second base on the force out, but with the runner on the move, that took that option away from him. He only had one play, and that's the first base. There's a rolling breaking ball. That's not the good one again. Ball's deep in the hole. He slides into it, gets up, and he fires, but that's just too tough a play, and safe at first base. Well, with 2 down, the runner at third is going to go anyway.
Ford scores easily. 3-2 Rice. Savarino, the 9-man in the order. Savarino has struck out and popped to the catcher on a bunt attempt. Fouls this one back out of play off the right side. 0-2 to J.J. Savarino. Rice fighting back here in the 6th. They were down 2-1. Now they have a 3-2 lead against Doug Thompson. Missed with a hook, 1-2. Thompson has now thrown 100 pitches in this ball game. Here trying to get out of the 6th inning without any further damage.
Well, part of the reason he's thrown so many pitches, he struck out 8 as well. So that's an automatic 24 right there. So that adds to your pitch total when you strike out a lot of hitters.
Breaking pitch missed. They appeal on the swing, and he's gone.
Yes, he did swing.
That's the 9th strikeout for Thompson. And the final out of the inning, but Rice puts 2 on the board, and the Owls have taken the lead in their half of the 6th, 3-2 over the defending national champions. Mike Patrick, Joe Morgan, Larry Connolly with you from the College World Series. Here's our Nike storyline as Rice leads at 3-2. The Owls with good infield defense. They've turned 3 double plays in this game in the first 3 innings. Baker for Rice, 2 for 2, a couple of RBIs. Berkman had the big hit of the ball game, a leadoff triple that led to the tying run in the Rice half of the 6th inning. And as you see, Stanford will face the winner of this ball game, as Stanford won the College World Series opener earlier this afternoon here at Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha. Nichols still on the hill for the Owls of Rice. Now he has the lead. He has not been able to get Furness out today, however. Furness with a double and a single in 2 trips will lead off the 6th, followed by Kerner and McClure. This guy has power to all fields. He's a very patient hitter.
That's what I said I was impressed with him last year, is he had discipline at the plate. Plus, he was aggressive when he did go after the ball.
Made the all-tournament team in the NCAA regional, hit nearly 400. Low in the dirt, 2-1. There's the premier pitcher in college baseball, Matt Anderson, the right-handed junior from Louisville, Kentucky, the All-American, with just an exceptional career record as well as this season. And if Rice can get to Anderson, they feel real good about their chances.
You try to go as long as you can with Nichols because this is a long College World Series. You do not want to use him for 3 or 4 innings in this ball game if you can get away from it. Right. You want to try to get to him maybe in the 7th or 8th inning. Good pitch there by Nichols, a changeup.
Sure was.
Decided that he's going to go with the changeup. He threw him 1 fastball and 4 straight changeups now.
This one is hammered on the ground, but Berkman, who's a vacuum down at first, comes up with it. 1 gone here in the 6th. Live action of the Memorial Tournament, sponsored by Dean Witter, continues tomorrow, 4 p.m. on ABC. Scott Hoke, 12 under par as the leader. Tommy Tolles, 10 under, played early in the 2nd round. Tiger Woods made the cut, but he is at 3 over. It would have been the only cut he had failed to make as a professional. This one's hit back up the middle. Richards behind second, and Richards throws him out. Richards playing with an injured arm. Makes that throw. 2 gone quickly here in the 6th.
Nice play there by second baseman. You mentioned Tiger Woods today. He looked like me out there a little bit today for a while.
I didn't know you were that good.
No, yeah. He had a double bogey and then a bogey followed that. That's 3 over and 2 holes. That looks like me.
If he'd had a triple, he'd have looked like me. Nichols has really settled down. He's retired the last 7 batters. Facing McClure here with nobody on and 2 out in the LSU 6th. High and inside with a fastball, 2-0. Took something off that, hit towards second, bad hop, but Richards hangs with it and makes the throw. 3 up, 3 down on ground balls. That ends the 6th. And LSU trailing upstart Rice 3-2. Rice and LSU in game 2 of the College World Series as we go to the 7th inning, and Rice has taken a 3-2 lead over the defending national champions. And Doug Thompson is out for LSU. Skip Berkman has gone with Chris Demouy, the left-hander out of Baton Rouge. He's been used as a closer this year. Not really the prototype overpowering closer, a fastball 85, 86 miles an hour, and you see his numbers: 68 strikeouts and 57 innings pitched.
Throws a fastball, pretty good fastball, changeup, and a curve. Like you say, he's not overpowering, but he uses all of his pitches.
And it's his job to hold Rice close as we go back to the top of the order for Jason Richards, who walked his last time up, officially 1 for 2, singled in his first at bat to start the ball game. Fastball by Demouy is in there. The numbers on Richards. Demouy making his 35th appearance of the year. This one's bunted down the first baseline, but right at Furness, and he'll make the play unassisted.
When you push the ball like that, you actually want to push it to the second baseman, who's a little deeper. But he pushed that ball right down the first baseline.
Joseph Cathy stands in 0 for 3 on the afternoon. We are in the Rice 7th. The Owls in their first ever trip to the College World Series fooled them on a breaking ball, and Cathy with a weak swing, 1-1. Teams have traditionally not done well in their first trip to Omaha. There's a lot to get used to. This one's tapped towards short. Larson. Nice play. Got him.
Yeah, that was
second out.
That was a big league play right there in that he had to take everything on the run. Any bobble and he would have been safe. He starts pretty deep and he charges very quickly. Now watch how quickly he gets rid of the ball with something on it. See how deep he is. He hasn't even come into the picture yet. And he gets rid of it quickly from the side. Nice play.
There were some questions early this year when they saw what a great player he had turned out to be, whether he would be a shortstop prospect in the big leagues, and now everyone's saying, yep, this kid can play shortstop.
Normally when you look at a shortstop, you don't think of him being 6 feet, 190 pounds or above. You look at a guy and you think of him, you look at guys that are usually about 5'10", 5'9", and quick. But as I say, they're making athletes bigger and stronger nowadays. So
here's Berkman, who tripled his last time up, and here's where he is most dangerous from the right-hand side. Every 5 at-bats this year, a home run. That is a remarkable stat. 90 at-bats, 18 dingers as a right-handed batter. And he would love to give Rice an insurance run here in the 7th. Takes a breaking ball inside 1 and 2. Excuse me, 2 and 2.
And I don't think there's any doubt that DeMuy is going to be very careful now that he has 2 strikes. Try to get him to go for something out of the zone if he can.
Berkman goes down on strikes to end the inning. Rice done in the 7th. They still lead 3-2 here at the College World Series. We roll into the bottom of the 7th. LSU down to Rice 3-2. And coming to bat here in Omaha, there is the Honorable Ben Nelson, the governor of the great state of Nebraska. Enjoying some baseball and picking up a couple of votes. Politicians never miss an opportunity. No matter what good they're doing, they're always doing themselves a little good as well. That's the nature of the game. Nichols stays in to pitch the 7th. He'll go against the bottom of the order, Bernhardt, Davis, and Horton.
It stuck with me this morning when Wayne Graham said that this guy was a competitor. He was a battler.
This one's lined into left center, a base hit. And Bernhardt is 3 for 3.
He's the only guy that he can't solve. He and Furnace, but he solved Furnace last time up. This is just good hitting. Pitches down and actually out of the strike zone. But again, that's what the aluminum bat will do for you. It allows you to go out and bring that ball back and hit it like a liner. That ball was like 4 inches off the ground.
And can you imagine what fun Bernhardt is having? Here's a kid who wasn't drafted as a junior, a 4th-year senior. He has waited his turn, so he gets to start in the College World Series. He's 3 for 3, and here comes Anderson, as Wayne Graham is not going to waste any more time with a potential tying run aboard. We'll document the pitching change when we come back. Nichols getting a round of applause. Congratulations from his teammates as he goes into the 7th inning with a 3-2 lead and will give way to college baseball's premier pitcher, Matt Anderson, with just an exceptional record. 28 games, he saved 9, won 10 more, and 97 strikeouts in 74 1/3. This guy is the prototypical closer, Joe.
Yeah, and the one thing you first notice about him is that he's not real smooth in his delivery, which helps you not to, it helps him hide the ball from the hitter a little bit. But you have to give this guy a real tip of the hat because he pitched great. I mean, if they would have told him he was going to be able to hold LSU down to 2 runs through 5+ innings, 6+ innings, everyone would have been happy. He pitched a great ball game under the circumstances.
And Jeremy Whitten, a punter on the football team, is in as a pinch runner. We asked Skip Burton about him this morning. Said we got to have him back by Tuesday. It's like a tuxedo rental. He's got a football meeting. We can't keep him. He's just on loan. Wes Davis, the 8-hitter, stands in. He's 0 for 2, popped out and grounded out. Young man has 46 RBIs this year, so he's come through in the clutch. Fastball high from Anderson. Earned run average of 1.82 in the day of aluminum bats. In the dirt. Nice block by McLaughlin. Runner goes on a delay and is in there.
That was an excellent play by the runner, simply because as soon as he saw that ball hit the dirt, he just took off. Now what? Well, we won't get to see the runner, but as soon as that ball hits the dirt, he's already running. See right there, nice pickup there. I mean, he saw as soon as that ball went down toward the dirt, he started toward second base.
It's a wild pitch against Anderson. A runner now in scoring position for Davis. 2-0. Ball 3. Excuse me, called strike 1.
Davis agrees with you.
That's right. That's the umpire's perspective. Fastball high and tight, 3-1.
Well, this obviously, Anderson is a different type of pitcher than Nichols was. He's throwing a little harder, but sometimes that's what you want. It makes you concentrate a little harder, and all you got to do is catch up with it.
Strike call.
It looked like a breaking ball or something. It was not his good fastball. He took something off, 77 miles an hour.
Payoff pitch to Davis. Fanned at a breaking ball.
Well, that's pretty good pitching. He got behind 3-1, and he threw a breaking ball for strike 2, and now he gets him to chase one on 3-2. It's kind of hard to stay in there, see, because you don't pick the ball up as quickly as you'd like from him, but there you see that little slider spin on the ball.
Boy, Davis didn't stay in there either.
No.
That left foot was halfway to third. He is unhappy about it. Conan Horton, the number 9 man. What they were looking for Davis to do, at least advance the runner. If he hits the ball to the right side, you have a man at third with less than 2 outs. And a fly ball or a play in the infield can tie it up.
Now, the tough thing is you can't bunt him because this guy throws so hard. I don't know if they'd be able to bunt him.
Horton 0 for 2. With the pinch runner Whitten down at second base. That one had some giddy up on it.
Yeah, pretty good swing there too. That was good reaction from both. Good pitch and a good swing. Watch, he gets his foot down in time right there. He's pretty much on it. Just too much of a loop in his swing. Too much uppercut.
The gun had it at 92. 1-1 to Horton. No pitch. Home plate umpire called time. The wind not much of a factor right now, just barely blowing in from left center. Again, there's the mask cam. Fastball lifted in the air behind third. Baker gives chase, called off by Cathy. That'll be the second out of the inning.
Smart play there by Cathy because he had a better angle in which to judge where the ball was going to come down. It's a tough play for a third baseman going back on that. Shortstop gets a good angle, so he can see he gets a good angle. He can see where it's coming down. You see the third baseman, Baker, trying to find it, but a good play there by Cathy.
LSU, a team that has homered in 67 straight games going back to the College World Series last year. They have not homered tonight. And the last time the College World Series had a doubleheader without a home run was 10 years ago this week in 1987. We did not have one in the first game.
Did you get that from Marty Aronoff?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Marty Aronoff's all over this.
Okay.
Stuff. Higgins 0 for 2 with a walk and a 1-0 count. Popped up. This will reach the seats. 1-1. Owls have to be feeling a little bit better about their first trip to Omaha. 3-2 lead in the 7th against power hitting LSU, and they have shut them down, and they have their ace on the hill.
Well, no doubt this is a key hitter, because if he can start the inning next inning from his windup, I mean, you know, with no one on base, it gives him an edge.
Higgins, the leadoff man, trying to keep it going. Took something off and swung over the top. 1-2.
I think that's what makes him tough. I mean, a lot of hitters can catch up with a fastball. You can throw it 99 miles an hour. Guy just starts to swing a little sooner. He can catch up with it. But when you can change speeds and throw a breaking ball as he's done, I mean, he's shown him 3 different speeds here. That's tough to handle.
Struck him out. So after a leadoff single, Matt Anderson comes on to shut the door on LSU. We are through 7, and Rice has a 3-2 lead. Let's go back to the end of the last inning as Anderson, with some high heat, gets Higgins to chase it and gets out of the inning. Well, you're right. I mean, not only has he got the 92-mile-an-hour fastball, but he's got the breaking ball with location.
Well, and that last pitch, I mean, that's a perfect 2-strike pitch when you throw 90+ miles an hour. You get 2 strikes any kind of way you can, and then throw the high fastball.
Jeremy Whitten, who came into pinch run as the new right fielder in place of Bernhardt for LSU. We're in the top of the 8th with Rice leading it 3-2. Demouy on in relief to face Bubba Crosby. And Bubba is 0 for 3. Although he thought he had a home run in the first inning. Got it right to the top of the wall. Tries to drag a bunt. Well, when you see a guy with 22 home runs trying to bunt, you know, my mind just flashes right back to Mantle.
Yeah.
Every time he did, he caught people so flat-footed. Reaches out, slaps it towards short, and Larson can't come up with it. Would have been a tough play.
That was actually a real tough play, the hop. He had to try to get over to it, and then the ball jumped up on him. Now watch this ground ball. He has to go to his right. Now watch, he goes over there, and watch that ball last hop. Right there, see it jump up? He really can't. It's hard to be moving one way and catch the ball out front. If you can't catch the ball out front, you'll never catch that ball. And he couldn't get over there in time. I mean, it scored an error, but, I mean, that was a really difficult play.
Ford comes up, squares as if to bunt, takes it for a strike. Oh, when that ball doesn't bounce the way you think it's going to bounce.
The only way you can catch bad hops is be able to reach out and catch it in front of you. And he couldn't do that because he was still trying to get in position. So he wasn't going to be able to reach out in front of him.
Demouy now facing the left-hander, Will Ford, with a runner at first and nobody out. Ford trying to sacrifice and lays down a good one. Demouy will make the play to first.
I think that's a very good play there because, I mean, you can try to give Anderson some insurance because Graham told us how important this first game was to him. And I think you have to give yourself a shot at getting an insurance run here, and moving the gun over to second base is doing that.
It'll bring up McLaughlin with 1 out and 1 on. Runner at second. Rice already ahead 3-2, trying to build on it here in the 8th. Laughlin singled his first time up, struck out the next 2.
Well, Matt doesn't seem like he's too worried about what he has to do in the 8th and the 9th.
Not a bit. If I had 10 wins, 9 saves, and an ERA under 2, I wouldn't be worried about it either.
Yeah, that's confidence. He's confident in his ability, and that's good.
There aren't many nervous closers around, you know. Strike on the outside corner.
Well, it does take a special mentality to be a closer. Your makeup has to be one of, you know, you get them today, and tomorrow if something happens, I have to come back the next day and get them.
Demouy facing McLaughlin. He's ahead 0-2. Breaking ball foul off the right side. McLaughlin just staying alive on that swing.
I remember the line that Raleigh Fingers said once. He said, sometimes you tame the tiger, sometimes you get eaten by the tiger. So you're always in dangerous territory when you are the closer.
But for those guys, that's the rush up. High 1-2.
Some of the most unusual pitchers I've known were closers. They were a little unusual at times.
Well, my mind springs immediately to Al Raboski.
Yeah. My mind goes to Clay Carroll. Yeah, he's a little strange at times, too.
Off speed. Might be trouble back into right, and it drops. Barbier couldn't chase it down. Witten will come in and pick it up. The runner will have to hold at third. So McLaughlin gets a little bloop single.
Well, it was a little pop-up, and Barbier was going out to catch it. You can see right there he wasn't going to be able to get it, though. He gave up pretty quickly, but no chance for Crosby to score on it because he had to make sure the ball wasn't caught. And to me, this is a very, very key situation here. And there it looked like they're going to play the infield back for the double play. I don't think you can afford to give up another run here. If you give up 2 runs with Anderson on the hill with only 6 outs left, it's going to be very difficult.
Oh!
But that shows he has a lot of confidence in his double play combination. I would think you'd probably play halfway so you can go either way. If it's hit hard enough, you could go for the double play, but if it's not, you'd come home.
Justin Bird checked his swing. They'll appeal to first. Nothing doing. 2-0. Berg is struck out, grounded out, and walked.
Let's take a look at this and see if he attempts. Yeah, I thought he went myself. From the angle that I had, he did swing, and there's no doubt in my mind that he swung.
They made the change several years ago where they went to this appeal because the first and the third base umpires have such a better view of it than the home plate umpire could possibly have.
Well, he's got the home plate umpire not only has to call the swing, but he's also got to call the pitch.
Exactly. Berg toward the hole and through. 4-2 Rice. An RBI single past the diving shortstop for Justin Bird.
It's a breaking ball. It's coming in and down, and he hits it on the ground. He finds a hole on the left side. You see the dive there by Larson, but he can't come up with it.
Berg, as the DH, has had an unexpectedly outstanding year for LSU. Came into the College World Series hitting .389, and he delivers a big hit there. That'll bring up Baker, and Baker rips it to short. Taylor-made double play, 6-4-3. They're out of the inning, but Rice gets an insurance run here in the 8th, and the Owls lead it 4-2. We go to the 8th inning here at Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha, and this is the inning LSU wants to make its move. The 2-3-4 hitters scheduled to appear against Matt Anderson. If he gets that breaking ball in, he is deemed to be virtually unhittable because of the 92-mile-an-hour fastball. He has been inconsistent with it at times this year, but good enough to have a 10-1 record with 9 saves and a 1.82 ERA. Barbier leads it off in the 8th, the number 2 hitter, who is 1 for 2 with a walk. One of the tough things about baseball, the way it's evolved, with new pitchers coming in, especially a closer, you usually only get to see him once. You don't have that opportunity to get used to the pitches and then come up the second and third time.
Well, that's because of specialization. You know, you got short men, long men, and middle relievers. You're right, and that's one of the reasons I don't think you'll see people hit 400, because they don't get a chance to see the same pitcher 2 or 3 times.
Anderson used to long stints 14 times this year. He's gone 3 or more innings out of 28 appearances. He came out in the 7th here. He's a very live arm. They may have gotten a little break on that called strike there on a 3-0 pitch. That one's high, and he walks him. So Barbier draws a leadoff walk, and it'll bring up the tying run in the person of Brandon Larson. He of the 37 home runs this year. And LSU, as we told you before, a 57-game streak on the line of at least 1 home run in a game. And Skip Bertman would like nothing better than to see that streak extended right here in the dirt. And you can better believe Brandon Larson is thinking fastball.
Well, I think that's what you have to do. You have to look for the fastball, because look for anything else, you definitely can't catch up with the fastball. You can look for the fastball and still make an adjustment to the breaking ball.
There's the fastball right down the pipe. Larson's had a tough day, grounded into a 4-6-3 double play, then a 6-4 double play that included runner's interference, and then grounded to short.
Well, he took a fastball because he hadn't seen one. The first pitch was a breaking ball. He took a fastball, and then he gets this one, and he just nails it. First, he thought it might go foul, but he hit it so hard it didn't hook. This is a fastball about bell time in the middle of the plate, and I mean, he just nailed it.
Comes in at 92, goes out at 110. You can never count LSU out of a ball game with that power, their come-from-behind ability. And now Furness comes up. Take a break for a second, go back to Carl Ravitch.
Hi, folks, and welcome, everyone, to our Wednesday, I shouldn't say Wednesday, our Baseball Tonight studios. Very special thing going on in Baltimore right now. Mike Mussina on the verge of perhaps pitching a perfect game. He has gone through 8, now heading into the 9th against the Cleveland Indians. The Indians with that, of course, vaunted offense. They have done nothing. Has not been a runner on first base yet. Mike Mussina in his career, 2 career one-hitters. We'll take you now to Baltimore. Mike Reggie and Jim Palmer there to call the game as Mike Mussina attempts to get a perfect game for the Orioles.
Via ESPN News around the country, I'm Michael Reggie. Hall of Famer Jim Palmer is here, too, as we see if Mussina can become perfect here in the top of the 9th in Camden Yards. 1-1 on Tony Fernandez. 24 in a row has Mike Mussina set down of Indian hitting tonight.
And I believe only one 3-2 count, and that was to Jim Tomei back in the first inning. Struck him out with 3-2 knuckle curveball. There is a portion of the fandom here at Camden Yard on their feet. And how often do you get to see somebody go into the 9th inning with a perfect game?
2-1 to Fernandez. Misses up. 3-1. The perfect game on the line on this pitch, as is the no-hitter on every pitch.
And that's the point. You have a 3-0 lead. You don't want to walk anybody, but on the other hand, you know, Mussina all night has been able to make the perfect pitch.
Sharply to the glove of Robbie Alomar. 1 down in the 9th. 2 to go for Mike Mussina.
Well, the next 2 hitters have been up 4 times. Sandy Alomar has struck out twice, and Vizquel has lined out and struck out.
Catch your breath. All rights to this baseball telecast are reserved. Any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, or other use of the pictures without the express written permission of the Baltimore Orioles and CBS Cable is solely prohibited. Sandy Alomar with Mike Mussina here with 1 out in the 9th. And Brian Giles has grabbed a bat and is in the on-deck circle for acting manager Jeff Newman. He will swing for Omar Vizquel. But first, it's Sandy Alomar Jr. Been punched out both times tonight by Mussina. He has struck out 8 on the evening and retired 25 Indian hitters in a row.
It may be the best pitch he gets to hit. That fastball right down the middle. Those strikeouts coming on knuckle curveballs.
Line to left, base hit. The villain in Baltimore, Maryland on this 30th of May is Sandy Alomar Jr. After 25 consecutive hitters retired by Mike Mussina, Sandy Alomar breaks up the perfect game and the no-hit bid with a ringing base hit to left.
And Rafael Palmeiro comes over to say something to Mike Mussina. I mean, when you have that kind of focus, that kind of concentration, this could disturb you, and immediately Davey Johnson will get somebody up in the bullpen. And it'll bring to the... Take another look right here. They try to go up and in on Alomar. And right there, Mike knows that that ball is going to be a base hit down the left field line.
Jim, what's the feeling? You get so close. You've been out there for 2.5 hours throwing 100 pitches. You're so close. How demoralizing is it?
Well, I don't think when you...
And Jim Palmer would know. He, of course, threw a no-hitter for the Orioles. They are up 3-0 a couple of weeks ago. Alan Venice took a no-hitter into the 9th. He ended up losing the no-hitter, and ultimately, the Cardinals lost the game. We will be back with baseball tonight following this College World Series game. For now, let's go back to Rosenblatt Stadium.
Thank you, Carl. Line drive to center. Here comes Furness to play at the plate, and he is a dead man. Great throw from Crosby, who was already in, and cuts down the lead run at the plate. Well, McClure got the single, but they couldn't get the run home.
Well, you got a choice to make there. I mean, Skip decided to send him because there were no outs. If he stops him, you got the bases loaded, no outs. It took a good throw. This ball is lined back through the middle. Now, if this throw is offline, you see he throws it all the way in the air. There's no chance to cut it off. If it's offline, you know, the guy makes it, but now you still have a runner at third with less than 2 outs. And the catcher's giving a signal to the infielders whether he's going to go throw through or not.
Jeremy Whitten, who came on as a pinch hitter, up for his first at bat. High to left field and deep. It'll be deep enough to get the run home. Kerner tags at third and will trot home well ahead of the throw. The throw to second. They got him. But the run counts. The runner crossed the plate before the play at second. So a wild and woolly inning, and LSU, first on the strength of Larson's 2-run homer, and then a sacrifice fly, gets the lead. It's 5-4 LSU, back to the bottom of the inning. If the runner from third crosses the plate before the runner going to second is tagged out, the run counts, and as you can see, it wasn't even close.
Well, the runner was going to second. He actually stopped there for a second to make sure. And I think he was thinking that they might throw to the plate, and he just wanted to be at second base if that happened.
Well, they've got the Bonehead Award for you if you don't hesitate.
Yeah, you're right. No, they got more than that. In this kind of a situation.
Yeah. Well, they start off with that and then work down. And now Demouy has a chance to win it, as Ryan Matthews will come on to pinch hit for J.J. Savarino. And then we would go back to the top of the order with Richards and Cathy trying to get on. Remember, Berkman would be the 4th hitter if they can keep it alive long enough for him. The man who leads the nation in home runs. Foul back out of play, 1-1. Rice in the last 3 innings, 25 come from behind wins. One of the reasons for that, Anderson, because he'll preserve virtually anything, but he was the guy who was touched up for the 3 runs. Matthews comes in hitting .286, only 98 at-bats. And Demouy trying to shut the door and get LSU into the winner's bracket, where they look for all the world like they were in a lot of trouble with college baseball's premier pitcher coming on to hold a 3-2 lead. Then they gave him a 4-2 lead. But right now, 5-4. Rice down to its last 3 outs. A bouncer towards second. Barbier sidearms it. Got him, 1 gone. Well, if they can get anybody on, we could have some fireworks with Berkman coming up.
Well, that's all you want if you're Rice now. That's all you can ask for, is to get your big gun up there with a chance to tie or win the ball game.
And the flags are dead still. Not that any amount of wind would keep a good shot by Berkman in this ballpark or any other. Strike call to Richards. Led off the game with a single. He's 1 for 3. Chops it foul. LSU really showing its grit. They've come from behind 29 times in their 53 wins this year. This would make it 30 out of 54. It's a remarkable achievement. Oh! Strike right there. 2 gone. So Demouy paints the corner, and it's up to Joseph Cathy to keep it alive.
Well, Demouy comes with a good fastball on the outside part of the plate, and that's what I like to see. I like to see more 2-strike fastballs than just a lot of breaking balls with 2 strikes.
And it was off the plate, but close enough. And really framed well by the catcher, Conan Horton. That was exactly where he set up. Cathy 0 for 4. Breaking ball right there.
great bunt by Cathy that I'm convinced he would have beaten out, but he fell down coming out of the box, and McClure still barely got it.
Well, when he bunted it, it looked like it was going to be a base hit. But like you say, the slip cost him, and he did what he was trying to do. He was trying to get Berkman up there, and that would have done it.
LSU has not lost a lead in the 9th all year long. And they have done it again. Boy, Cathy trying to do his job. This is a beautiful bunt against Demouy.
There you see him stumble.
Jeez. What a tough break for the young man and for Rice. But credit McClure. He never gave up on it. Makes the perfect throw, and Furness gives it the stretch. So LSU comes from behind. Demouy wins it in relief. He's 6-1. Anderson suffers only his 2nd loss. 5 runs, 9 hits, an error for LSU. 4-8-1 for Rice. We'll be back to Omaha in just a moment.